Alright YouTube, welcome back. For this segment we're going to be talking about Swage Bullets. Now, I do not have a Corbin swaging setup or any swaging setup for that matter. These particular projectiles were sent to me by Tommy, also known as Daywalker 627, I believe, if I have that right. But he sent me a quantity of these Swage projectiles to try out in my 45. Well, basically what he's gone and done here is he's got a die that takes a piece of 40 Smith & Wesson brass and it forms it to make a jacket for a 45 or 451 diameter projectile, which is kind of neat because it gives you some flexibility that you really don't get with casting. This is kind of like taking casting to the next stage. Now, I know that Daywalker has a set of videos on his page that talks about swaging. I'm looking to get into swaging soon, but it's just one of those things where it is a slight investment right up front in order to get all the equipment and everything. But regardless, Tommy was kind enough to send me some of these projectiles to play with. So I'm just going to get a little footage of loading these things up and we'll shoot a range test soon. The firearm that we're going to be using is a Heckler & Koch, or Heckler & Koch, I'm sorry, USP Compact 45. Alright, so we're going to be loading some of these up. We've got two basic varieties. We've got one that's just got a standard lead core. Alright, we've got a standard lead core here and the base projectile itself. And as you can see, it is a standard piece of 40 Smith & Wesson brass with the primer left in there and everything. All he does is go through and clean them really well. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you end up having a core swaging die or a core mold that you cast your cores out of. And then the swaging press does all the work. He's got another variety that he's gone and punched a 35 caliber gas check into the nose just to give it a nice little uniform look and everything. I've been weighing out some of these projectiles, and from what I've been seeing so far, the weight comes out to around 231.5 grains with an average variance or deviation of around 1.5 grains, which is pretty good. Okay, diameter wise, these things have been coming out right at 450 to 451 plus or minus a thousandth. So again, not too much variation of what you would expect to find in factory bullets. Okay, here in this shot I'm just showing one of the projectiles with the 35 caliber gas check in the nose. This is one round that I have loaded up of the ammunition, 45 caliber, and this is just a gas checked cast bullet shown for reference. Let's load up a few. Okay, this particular little segment here, this isn't really meant to be educational or anything like that. I'm just going to show a little bit of the process, and we're mainly looking to see if the loading process of these bullets is any different than normal projectiles. So I've got the barrel out of my H&K USP to use as an overall length gauge. So far, that first initial bullet that I loaded, it drops into place nice and freely, and it falls right out. So if you're using your barrel like I am here, it doesn't hurt. If they fall right out like that, that's perfect. Alright, so I'm just going to load up a few and let's see how this process rolls along. Just using my Lee classic turret press. Let's just load a few. I'm using 5 grains of unique. That's pretty much been my preferred charge for the 45 ACP in general. Tends to work real well and give the best accuracy and overall function without a whole lot of extra riffraff. Alright, there's a round. Looks pretty nice. I think these are going to shoot really well. I will follow up with a range test, but this was basically just meant to be kind of a quick video to show you exactly what we're working with, and you know, the fact that these definitely are not your standard projectile, okay? So again, custom hand swage bullets on a Corbin setup. As I get into swaging, we're going to be doing a lot more of this stuff in the future. We'll get to talking about some different stuff and everything like that. In terms of swaging videos, if you want to check out Daywalker627, check out Ammo Smith. He's got some videos on swaging, and also I believe John Price still has some videos up on swaging. So if you guys are interested, check them out until I'm able to catch up with them on that. And we'll see how the range test goes. I'll report the results later.